Hey everybody, welcome back to True North VR. Today we are checking out the Enforcer made by Deadeye VR. This is a haptic pistol and rifle stock. This one I'm going to unbox it here. I'm going to show you how to put together the rifle stock. I'm going to show you how to use the pistol, all the different ways that you can customize and adjust it. I will show gameplay, and then of course I will give you my review in the end. Okay, so this is the Enforcer haptic pistol with feedback on it. We came with a few different things, including our setup here for basically everything. It's only a few steps though, also with how to set up the actual pistol itself. Okay, so if you bought the full package, not just the pistol grip there, this is going to be what you receive, everything that you see here. I wanted to go through quickly how to assemble the actual gun stock here, and then we'll transfer into the unboxing of this and the assembly and breakdown of this piece here. So this is your carbon fiber stock here. Both of those pieces are telescopic, adjustable with the adjustments there. I'm just going to bring them out just a little bit, just for the sake of what we're doing here. Now, if you follow the instructions, the first step deals with this piece here. Okay, so this might not be inserted into it yet, so you can insert that bolt into there. This is going to go on the end of your gun, and you're going to see that there's a little hole right here. That hole is going to line up with this hole here. You can, I don't think the camera will get it, but I could see it line up. Then you're going to take this shorter little screw here, and that's what's going to twist into here to lock that into place. So it comes with, here we go. It comes with various Allen keys that you can use. For this one, you're going to want to use the smallest and just twist this in. After that, what it shows is installing the controller cup that's going to go on the front. So to do that, again, if you haven't put this bolt into there, that's what needs to go in there. The controller cup will go over top of that, and then you can take this piece here and twist it in. Now you notice that this can go to various different points wherever you want it. I'm just going to put it at basically a 90-degree angle there with the rest of the gun stock. Lock that into place and we're good. Now we can move to the back. To the back, we're going to want to take this piece here. And again, same idea as what we did with the front. There's that hole there. Once you put this gun stock in, or this back piece into the gun stock there, it's going to line up with that hole. And again, I can see it line up there. Now we're going to take this longer, there we go, this longer one compared to the front, and that's what's going to go in here. Now we can take our shoulder pad here, and that's going to get inserted into the top of this. And then you can see that it has a lot of space here. That's so you can choose how high you want that shoulder pad to be. I can't remember exactly where I had mine before, so I'm just going to put it in roughly there. I'll take this bolt here. I'm going to put it on this side right here. See how it goes all the way in. And then we can take this on this side. Now our next step is the magnetic holder that's going to attach to the bottom of your pistol. We got to put that onto the rifle stock here, and that's going to go in between these two clamps. So in between our two telescopic clamps. You should have 4 of these longer screws, 4 of those nuts, 2 silver pieces, and then our magnetic piece there as well. So what's going to happen is these silver pieces are going to attach to the bottom here. One of these bolts, or nuts, sorry, I should say, is going to go there, and the little screw bolt type thing is going to go on the underside, coming up through and tightening in. Okay, but this needs to happen while it's around our rifle stock here. So put that around however you would like. I'm just gonna kind of lay it to the side here. Probably gonna end up doing one at a time just to get things started here. Once things start to get threaded through, then it won't be so bad. So before you actually tighten them all the way up, you're going to want to make sure that this is going to be roughly in the middle, or however far you want it from the shoulder pad. But you are going to want to make sure that it is pointing up and not down or off to the side or anything. We want this up with everything else going on here. Once you have that into the position, then you can tighten these all the way up. Okay, that's the basic setup. The last thing that we can do if you want is add in our shoulder strap, but that's pretty basic. One piece here is going to go on the front, right into there, and the other side of it is going to go right up into here. Bring that around, there we go, and it is now good to go. So you'll see, and you'll notice very quickly that this magnetic piece here that we attached is for the bottom of the pistol here, and it's going to lock right in there. So you can see I have it too short, so I'm going to undo that and extend this out just to there for now. Just showing you guys that that's how you can adjust it. So I'm going to get into this piece now. Alright, so the first step it says is to install our hand strap here going on the side. We have these two end pieces that need to be undone that are going to go into here and here. Okay, once we have our hand strap on there, this dial can go into our spot right here. There we go, just pressed it in. Now, to install the controller, I'm going to grab my right controller here. If you're using a Quest 3 or 3S, what it shows here is needing to put this little neoprene pad, I think it calls it. Is that what it is? Yep. Inside of our slot here, you'll see, if I can get the right light angle for you, you can see a little square actually cut out there. That's where this is going to go, and that's just adding a little extra grip onto your controller. Once that's into place, it tells you to loosen this screw up. Okay, once that's all the way out, this actually moves up, as you can see. So you can lift that up, slide your controller in to place. Sliding that controller into place, you want the triggers to line up with each other. So you can see there, that will go back down. Now you can tighten this back in to lock that back into place. So to turn it on, you're going to want to turn this switch to the left there. And you'll see on the other side of your instructions all the different things that you can adjust with this. There's a lot that you can adjust. This is a fantastic piece of technology. And so the main thing is we have red, yellow, and blue. And notice the color of the light actually changing when you press the buttons, which is great. It's not just red is on or anything. So just, if we are just going just basics first, red is automatic. So as long as you're holding that trigger, it's going. Yellow is burst. There we go. And blue is a single shot. So every time you press it, it's going to shoot once, right? So now if I hold red, now you can see it's blinking, and I turn this up, that's going to turn my fire rate up. So now I'm on single shot. That's not really going to change much, but if I go to automatic, see how fast that is. Now hold this button, it's blinking, turn my knob all the way down, still on fully automatic. You can see how much slower that is, right? Burst, same idea. There's my three, hold the red, gonna turn this up, press it again, very fast burst. We go to yellow, that's our recoil intensity. So this isn't going to change anything if I'm not pressing anything, so it doesn't really matter. But if I hold this down, my recoil intensity, turn it all the way up, and then turn it all the way down, you can hear the difference. And if you were holding it, you could feel the difference too. It's not recoiling as much. Maybe if I do fully automatic, hold that yellow one, you flashing yellow, turn it all the way up, it goes a bit more crazy. And then blue, if we hold blue down, that's fire delay. What that means is I'm going to turn this all the way down and I'm going to turn it to single shot pretty much at the same time, pressing and shooting. Turn that down. You can see the difference there. So there's a lot that you can customize here, which is really cool. Also, I'm just going to throw this out there right now. This really looks like the Needler from Halo 3 or Halo in general. I played a lot of Halo 3, that's why I said Halo 3. That was a lot of fun. One other thing here, charging. They got a USB-C port right there. You can just plug that in, plug it into the wall, and it's getting charged for you. Then you're good to go. All right, I just wanted to show you a little comparison. This is the old model of the Enforcer. The one that I'm showing you now is the new model. Just wanted to show you the differences in how they've improved things and listened to their users, right? So here on the old one, things were a lot more forward heavy, it moving forward. You can see if we line them up, it's sticking out extra, and it is more bulky right here. There's a lot more weight in that part. Obviously you can't feel the weight, but this one, the weight is a lot more centralized, all in here. Overall design of the two, I like them both. Like this one's more of like, you know, a pistol, like a handgun. Like I said before, this is more like the Needler from Halo. Still really cool though. One of the biggest improvements that I think is the charging. So for the old one, you actually had to undo this, unplug these cords, and it came with a specific charging cord that would fit this, and that's what you would charge it in, with all the batteries being down right in here. Kind of have to fit that back in properly so it doesn't. There we go, and then you lock it just like that. But as you saw with the new one, now they've incorporated the USB-C charging port, which is way easier, and people are going to have a lot less trouble with that, so that's really nice. Up here, with our design of locking it in like that, that is a bit more secure than what we had here. Here the controller would, this would pop off, the controller would go in, and it would clip down over top of the controller. That still worked fine though, and it held the top of the controller in there, and we were good. Those are some of the main differences. The hand strap is mainly the same, the connecting piece with the release latch is the same, and then our buttons and what they do are, that idea is still the same, all in between them with the dial and everything as well. Just the looks have changed a little bit, but they're improving on their product, and I really like to see that from a company, that they're willing to go back and improve things that are suggested to them. So here we are in Population 1. I got it on the fully automatic mode. Not gonna lie, it feels pretty cool when you see the gun moving in the game and you can feel it in the rifle itself. Reloading is pretty easy. You can see I popped off that front controller, was able to do the movements and then keep on going. Here we are in the semi-automatic, the 3-shot burst. Just doing some tests out here. And then you can see I can easily take off the pistol and use it as a pistol in the game and turn it on to single shot. Sorry, it kind of goes out of the green screen there. I found it really easy to switch between those 3 modes in the game. Really fun to use. Okay, so as you saw there, I was able to try it out. Now I want to talk about it a little bit more and give you my review. Overall design, especially compared to the older one, this one is a bit more sleek in design. The weight is a bit more central here on your hand instead of more towards the front like the other design was. Kind of looks like the Needler on Halo, like I said before. I really like the haptic version of it. You know, that makes it a lot of fun when you can go in and adjust settings so that you can get a feel like you're actually holding a semi-automatic rifle or a fully automatic rifle, or just a pistol, right? Or maybe a shotgun. So you can change the fire burst here. You can also change the fire rate, the recoil. You can change the delay as well. A lot of different ways you can customize it. Really good. Feels really good on the hand. Nice little strap there. A pretty solid build, I would say. Now, this retails for $182 Canadian on their website. That's just this haptic pistol part. If you do want the full stock with it as well. It's 279 Canadian on the website. Definitely not a cheap accessory, something more of an investment, and that's really if you're into first-person shooter games and you think you would benefit from it. Did it help my game at all? I think it helps aiming for sure, because then you don't have two controllers that are varying. You have that nice solid stable feel. It's pretty easy to take it off and reload, as I showed you there. This one can also release as well if you need two pistols, or if you need to climb a wall or something, throw a grenade. It's pretty easy to do that. I didn't show the shoulder strap there when I was using it, but it does have a solid shoulder strap, and you're obviously going to want that on there if you're taking off both, releasing both, because then otherwise that stock will fall to the ground. What else can I say about it? Solid build, carbon fiber stock here. The rest is plastic here. This is adjustable up and down, and your carbon fiber stock here is telescopic, so you can adjust the length of it depending on what you need. And then we got our cup here on the end. Really strong magnet, but easy to take off by pushing forward, so you can release it quick to reload and put it back on. Comparing it to other gun stocks that I've tried, weight-wise, it's pretty similar. This is a little bit heavier, this piece right here, but the whole stock here is pretty similar. It's not as customizable as other ones that I've tried. This one, you really only have the length and then the shoulder pad that you can customize, and you can tilt the front controller forward and back. Other ones that I've tested have a lot more customizing you can do with it, but then this one is haptic as well. You got your different feels here that you can use that other ones don't have, and that really comes down to your personal preference if you want that or not. So if you have any questions about it, please don't hesitate to let me know. I'm happy to answer anything to the best of my ability. I'll link below where you can find it on their website. Thank you for watching this one. We'll see you next time here on True North VR.